please let our panelists speak first on the questions, and I open the floor for the guests also after my own members of IWPC.
I just have a small point. So in case you are being targeted, you can write to the platform. So let's say, under GDPR, especially if it's EU and GDPR. So you can write to the platform saying this particular content piece is in breach of your terms and conditions, and I want to report it. Can you A, take it down because it's violating the code of conduct of your user terms and conditions? B, can you help me find out the origin of this content? That's your first bet, and a right also as a user of that particular platform. Second would be you can follow the judicial process or CRPC. That's a separate procedure which you get. But you
are there any specific sections under which one can file complaint?
Again, not a lawyer, but in the criminal. Sorry, in the criminal laws you will see provisions for impersonation, which is very similar to a deepfake being created of you. So those provisions exist. You will also read a lot of reports wherein aggrieved citizens have gone to the police to file an FIR in such instances. So there is legal recourse. First step, like you rightly mentioned, would be writing to the platforms, and there are like grievance redressal opportunities available. They have their own policies specifically because there's so much conversation also specifically on, say, AI generated content, even electoral disinformation. All of that is available as a recourse. And I know this is not very satisfying to hear, but even though we have these recourses, like she was rightly saying, we do need media literacy, information literacy, because at the end of the day, all of these online harms that we're seeing today are replications of offline harms. These happen in a society. Your phone is just a replication of the society, and the harms are a replication of offline harms. So you can only fix it in the long term completely. If you need to look at it, you can't just look at it at the technological layer in itself. Just the technological layer is not by itself enough. You need to look at the social. You need to look at it as a social political problem, and the underlying societal factors that lead to such harms. I will keep saying that as a policy.
So can we open the house?
Yes.
Any questions from the guests?
Yeah,
sure.
Please introduce yourself also. What is the silver line now?
Then can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Mrs. Ramani Nisa. I am the Chief Editor of Online. We as journalists and writers, what is the advice or even suggestion from the panelists? If not our generation, at least our next generation should be able to make the best of what is here now. You see, if we analyze the human history, any new invention creates problems. So it's like a sword with two edges. But the problem with AI is like by the time the harm we detect whether it is fake or whatever it is, the harm is done. That is a main problem that we are facing. So, what is your suggestion? We as journalists, how we can make the public aware of it, or how we can give pressure to the political parties in the upcoming elections, to the government, to the policy makers, to the lawmakers. I think if you can have some suggestions on that also, this would be more beneficial.
See, I mean, there is no legal or technical answer here. It's like, people can put more restraint on themselves while they are consuming content. Like back in the day, Socrates had this 3 legal rule for any content, if you are aware of it. So the same thing, right? Do I know it's true? Is it important? Like just applying those basic principles of information to just make sure that do I really need to pass it on?
Yeah.
Do I have enough resources to check it's correct? So that sort of discipline at a citizen level, I think, would have a compounding effect, where we become more conscious of consuming content responsibly and even more responsible before sharing it with other people.
Jacqueline also like to say something.
अभी तो AI का इंट्रोड्यूस है. सरोज सूर्या from Navbharat Times.
Jacqueline has to answer.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to your question and also offer my closing remarks. So I think one, as Karthik has already said, be responsible. So आप क्या शेयर कर रहे हैं, check your sources. मैं अपनी मम्मी को हमेशा ये बोलती हूँ कि वो कुछ भी फेसबुक पे भेजती है, मुझे ये देखा वो देखा, उनको कहती हूँ उनको बेसिक गूगल करना आता है. So I ask tell her कि जब तक ये न्यूज़ आपको 10 कम से कम 10 गूगल में 10 हिट्स पे नहीं मिल रहा है फर्स्ट पेज पे, डोंट बिलीव इट्स ट्रू. दैट्स द बेंचमार्क आई हैव गिवन हर कि इट नीड्स टू बी वाइडली कवर्ड इफ इट्स न्यूज़. I do that with my mother. She is not very technologically advanced. Basic WhatsApp, Google आता है. But I would, apply that to everything. If you have read a news, see if it's being carried out by, your mainstream platforms. Whatever you tend you want to do. And once you have verified that, then forward. So that's one. Second, now that all of us here are journalists, I think we have a bigger role to play. And that I would say is in media literacy, and we can all do it in our small capacity. We may not have the capacity to have a fact checking department at our organization. That's fine. Even talking to your own parents and your friends and family circle is enough. Talking to your own community or your colleagues in the organization is enough. So do your bit. हम कोई इट्स अ वेरी जो ओशन की बात है कि हम सभी ओशन में हैं, हम सब थोड़ा करेंगे, कुछ तो बनेगा ना आगे, मतलब सब इकट्ठा करके करेंगे कुछ बनेगा. So that's, I think, as journalists all of us should just do our bit in media literacy. And I think the third point, and all of us here sitting on the panel represent different industries. We have media industry, we have civil society, we have tech, and I think the biggest lobbying that we need to do even before the government, because मेरा थोड़ा इतना विश्वास नहीं है कि वो कुछ करेंगे, तो मैं I would rather go to the capitalism side and expect that the platforms who are creating these technologies should also offer solutions. Like if I am not a tech person, so I don't know how it works, but I think in a common sense that if you are able to create something, you should also be able to create a defense mechanism around it. I don't believe that OpenAI cannot create a detector. If they want to do it, they can. If they can create such realistic videos, then they can also create. So that will needs to be there, and I think all of us here represent different sectors, and we can put pressure on them, on Meta. Meta has already, Tejasvi spoke about multilingual issues. बहुत पहले when I did my study on online abuse, तब ये बात 2013-14 की है. At that time they didn't have Facebook, they did not have language specific moderators in India. That was the number one suggestion that civil society groups gave to them, that you need to go beyond English, because people mostly don't use English as their first language in India, right? And you need to go beyond Hindi also, because it's a very Western understanding कि बस हिंदी से काम हो जाता है. Because a lot of abuse they couldn't even understand. It was in regional language, or it was slang language. So you really need to have human moderators from the country, from that region, to understand what that slang language is. I think that they have worked on this. It's been more than 10 years. But I truly believe that the problem and the solution both lies with the tech companies, and if they are willing, they can actually solve it. We will do our job on keeping, pressurizing them, and I would like, as journalists also, that we continue doing the same.
So I just have one small question to what you just said. Did Facebook
Please
actually,
introduce yourself also.
I'm Rajlakshmi, I work for this fortnightly magazine called Frontline. But I want to ask you that did Facebook actually enter into this diversity of slang business? Because
Yeah.
given the enormity of language, dialects in the country,
From
slang
my
also must have been very big.
From my limited knowledge, and I've worked with them many years back, around 2015-16, yes, they took these suggestions. Facebook also incorporated one suggestion which was very contextual to India. They included caste-based abuses. Because Facebook, being an American company, understands racial abuses, and this was a suggestion made by many Dalit groups in India. It was part of a civil society, one multi-stakeholder meeting that they organized, I think, around 2016-17, and this is something that they have implemented, because you can now see if you report abuse and उसमें जो option आता है कि gender specific या race specific, there's caste specific also. So some suggestions have been implemented definitely over the past 8 to 10 years. But I think one of our colleagues mentioned that it is still inhuman, like it's not humanly possible to detect everything because just the amount of user, the scale. But some suggestions have been implemented, and I don't know if IFF has also done consultations with Facebook.
We did. I think a bunch of civil society spoke to Meta recently. They have, I think, you can see this on this website, this data, but I think they have close to like moderation capabilities in 16 regional languages. So there are two sides to it. I'm sorry if I'm not able to end on a positive note. But while they also have a WhatsApp helpline or tip line to report misinformation. But on the other hand, we are seeing no product level or product design level changes being done by Meta, which has been a suggestion that's been raised multiple times, which can actually solve to some extent these issues. The second thing is these platforms have something called the trust and safety teams, which basically look at online safety and security in terms of like content that's being posted. Most platforms, including Meta, have actually cut down resources. Cut down resources and even the strength of these trust and safety teams at their firms. Cut down the strength right before significant elections all across the world. So there are two sides to it. While there are some positive moves, there are also there's a big gap that can be filled if the will is there, which.
So last question from Saroj Dhulia. Last question, Saroj Dhulia from Navara Times newspaper. एक्चुअली वैसे मुझे जवाब मिल गया जो मैं पूछना चाह रही थी इनकी बातों से, लेकिन फिर भी मैं ये कहूँगी अभी खास तौर से फोटो खबरों में एआई का बहुत ज़्यादा, तो आने वाले समय में क्या लगता है कि कहाँ घुसपैठ, मतलब किन फील्ड में इसका वो होगा, या भविष्य के लिए ऐसा लगता है कि ये एआई एक सही हम लोगों को बदलाव कर पाएगा, ये नुकसानदेह रहेगा? नहीं, कभी होता है किसी चीज से फायदे ज्यादा होते हैं।
When I was growing up, तब there was this debate कि केबल टीवी बैन और बूम, फिर जब मैं कॉलेज में आया था इंटरनेट बैन और बूम, तो all of these technologies have survived. So I think it's the Pareto effect. There's a larger good which is possible that technology always progresses. So AI के साथ भी there's so many positives around it.
Because it's election, I feel like I must say this.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody had asked earlier कि deepfakes है कि नहीं, कैसे पता चलेगा? It's getting harder to say. So what happened is earlier this year, all the fact checkers in India got together and decided to collaborate on this, and they created something called the Deepfake Analysis Unit. It has a WhatsApp tip line number. If you ever come across a video and you don't know whether it's AI or real, but you have your doubts, you can send this video to the Deepfake Analysis Unit. It's a WhatsApp number, you can save it. I actually have the number. If you want, I'll read it out. It's 9999025044. Yeah, 9999025044. You send it, and this video will reach all the fact checkers in India, and we are basically collaborating on this along with experts. For example, there's a IIT Jodhpur professor in computer science, Mayank Vatsa, who has been a real big help, and some other experts as well in this industry in India who are helping us on this. So yeah, just letting you know, because without the help of these experts, it's really impossible to tell now. So if you have these kind of expert help, you should resort to it.
Once more, 999902
5044.
So this is all voluntary. WhatsApp number.
Yeah, we voluntarily decided to collaborate because we felt like we are all going to fall behind if we do our own thing, and if we compete in this field, we'll all fall behind. So,
Someone asked about the silver
yes,
lining.
Meta is actually. We actually forced them to fund this because they asked us what can we do. Like, please fund us in this.
So that was a good intervention.
So we have a last, actually the last question from our ex-president of IWPC, Shobana Janji. So once more.
Thank
you for giving me the opportunity. ये क्वेश्चन मेरा जसमीन के लिए है। नाम नहीं क्या लगता है? माइक करेक्ट है anyway। जैसे आपने विमेन उसकी बात की, इलेक्शन में इस बार भी खासतौर पे विमेन वोटर्स बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है, और उनको क्या वो करने के लिए AI का इस्तेमाल करने की एप्रीहेंशंस हैं।
मुझे एक्चुअली इसके बारे में बहुत इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है। मैंने कुछ ऐसे कैंपेन्स देखे नहीं है जो AI यूज़ कर रहे हैं। हमने ये देखा है कि विमेन पॉलिटिशियंस को टार्निश करा जा रहा है AI से। सो ममता बनर्जी का AI रीफेक आया था, और इससे पहले अभी बांग्लादेश में जनवरी में ही कुछ विमेन पॉलिटिशियंस का AI रीफेक बनाया गया था। इलेक्शन से पहले उसको रिलीज किया था। जैसे अभी आशीष ने भी बताया कि फेज 1 से पहले ही हमने बहुत सारी रीफेक्स देखी। तो मैंने इसका पॉइंट ऑफ दूसरा साइड देखा है कि विमेन पॉलिटिशियंस को वैसे टार्निश किया जा रहा है और उनकी इमेज के ऊपर। विमेन का हमेशा यही होता है, मतलब वो एक ही जगह पे जाता है, बट विमेन वोटर्स को वो कर रहा है। इसके बारे में मैंने अभी तक ऐसे कोई न्यूज़ में देखा नहीं है। अगर
फेक कंटेंट वगैरह के जरिए क्या
ऐसा कुछ इस इलेक्शन के दौरान हम लोगों ने अभी तक देखा नहीं है, बट वी डू एक्सपेक्ट समथिंग लाइक दैट। वी हैव सीन स्कैम्स यूजिंग डीपफेक्स दैट हैव टारगेटेड वुमेन। इफ यू सर्च फॉर द लैला राव स्कैम व्हिच वी हैड रिपोर्टेड ऑन लास्ट ईयर, ऐसा एक स्कैम था जो कि वुमेन को स्पेसिफिकली टारगेट किया गया था। सो आई मीन आई वुड एक्सपेक्ट दैट समथिंग लाइक दिस कुड हैपन।